To convert units of area, you need to be able to use the linear conversions that you already know, but you need to use them in a different way. So the best thing to do is memorize these, and each time you want to convert area, work it out freshly every time. That way you won't get it wrong. Now, the easiest thing to do is do a quick diagram. Now, if we want to convert square kilometres here, and we want to know how many square metres that will involve, the easiest thing to do is just draw 1 square kilometre. Now, 1 square kilometre is 1 kilometre by 1 kilometre, isn't it? So if you want to label the sides another way, how about labelling them in metres? 1 kilometre is 1,000 metres, so we can label one side as 1,000 metres and even the other side as 1,000. That way you've got your metres, but you've also got your kilometres, and you can check that you've made your linear conversion carefully on the actual linear measurement, which is just one line, not the area. Now, if you imagine this is 1,000 metres, you've got 1,000 columns, haven't you? And you've got 1,000 rows. Way too many for me to draw, let's just imagine them. So the number of square metres that you've got in there is a really big number. You've got 1,000 times 1,000, and that gives you 1,000,000. Now, how can you be sure? Because you've got 3 zeros here multiplied by a 1 with 3 zeros here, so you need 6 zeros in your answer. Now, rather than memorising that there's 1,000,000 square metres in a kilometre square, just memorise this one. You know that there's 1,000 metres every time you run 1 kilometre, and you know that that distance makes some sense to you. So memorise this one, draw up this one, and then work it out freshly each time you need it. Similarly, if you want to know what 1 square metre is in square centimetres, draw it. 1 metre square is 1 metre times 1 metre. Now, how many centimetres are there in a metre? There's 100. So you can label the other two sides as 100 centimetres times 100 centimetres. Now, when you want to know how many square centimetres there are in there, there's 100 columns and 100 rows. 100 times 100, that's 2 zeros, 2 more zeros. It's a 1 with 4 zeros. So you'll get 10,000 square centimetres in 1 square metre. The last one down here, if you want to know about square centimetres and how many square millimetres there would be in there, just draw it. Here's 1 centimetre square, and think about how big it is as you do this. That's 1 centimetre times 1 centimetre, which is 10 millimetres by 10 millimetres. So 10 tens is 100. That gives me 100 millimetres square in each centimetre square. Now, if you want to make conversions, you can use these. Let's have a look at how we do it. Take a different colour. Let's say I ask you to convert 0.673 centimetres squared into metres squared. All right, centimetres squared into metres squared. Have a look at your conversions. How do you go from this number to this number? Oh, it has to get a lot smaller, doesn't it? How much? It has to get 10,000 times smaller, or you have to move the decimal point 4 places to the left to go from centimetres squared to metres squared. So that tells us that we need to take the decimal point here and move it 4 places to the left. Let's have a go. 1, 2, 3, 4. Now, if there's nothing to jump over, you put placeholder zeros to jump over, and your decimal will end up here. So that tells me that, let's write it out nicely, 0.673 centimetres squared is equal to 0. Now we need 1, 2, 3, 4 zeros, and then we just put the rest of the digits down. That's how many square metres that is. All right, can we take this same number, 0.673 centimetres squared, and can we turn that into millimetres squared? Absolutely we can. Let's have a look how to do it. When you're going from centimetres squared to millimetres squared, the number gets bigger, a lot bigger. It gets 100 times bigger. And the way that we can do that is move the decimal 2 jumps to the right. So take your decimal point down here, move it 2 jumps to the right, and that will place it between the 7 and the 3. So that tells me I have 67.3 millimetres squared.